How are you? Welcome to the vlog on technical reporting. Whether you are a working professional or a businessman, or you are in sales and marketing, or you are in kind of a commission, you are part of a committee, or you are a student, or you are a technician engineer, you are bound to do some kind of reporting. This vlog is on how to do technical reporting. Before we get into the topic, thanks to all those who have subscribed to my channel and are watching my videos regularly. For those who haven't yet, please check out all my videos, and if you like them, subscribe to my channel and share it with all the friends you know. And hey, don't forget to give a big thumbs up if you like my video, any of my video for that matter. So whether it is a project report detailing the events or projects, or a committee report which you are part of, how the committee has worked, or a commission report to give a fact finding, or an audit report where the audit findings are presented, the field reports or the survey reports if you are in sales and marketing. It could be investigation reports if you are in quality department, or any kind of place where correction and corrective action has to be determined, and market reports if you are in again in sales, business reports if you are in management, and if you are in press you will have press reports. There are many more reports, and each report has to be dealt in its own way. There is no single uh, tested methodology, no single template for all these reporting. So any report in general can consist of a purpose. Purpose is the aim of the report in question, why that report has been created in the first place. That is the purpose. So any report could start with the purpose or an executive summary briefing what is the content of the report in short. The actual work that was carried out, be it a research work or be it a business related, or it's an investigation or a survey, all these could be brought down in the work done, or the evidences for what work has been carried out by yourself and by your team. Appropriate references has to be provided. What I mean by appropriate references here, or the organization that has empowered the person to carry the survey or investigation or the evaluation or audit or inquiry, whatever, to find the actual state of affairs in that, who has empowered you and why this has been done, this work has been done. That reference has to be provided, it has to be substantiated. Then the findings. What we generally refer to as a report is a presentation of some findings. So reporting is done to present the findings and in an appropriate format, we could say. So reporting is simply an arrangement of ideas from the findings. The actual work done by you or your team or your committee or your colleagues has to be under various headings and subheadings here. Findings is the state of affairs that is has to be reported. That is what as outcome of your work. On certain reports, some guidelines or suggestions or recommendations are provided. On some other occasion, this may not be the direct objective of reporting. A note of dissent could be an add-on to the reportings. A lot of people do this, but any report could have its own note of dissent, especially when the various internal participants, the stakeholders, feel in a different way and seem to have different findings, and as a consequence, different recommendations or suggestions. The note of dissent could be a nicer way to represent that all in the team did not feel in the same way. It's a nice way to say we have agreed to disagree. Let us discuss some examples here, quick examples. Let's say we are doing a survey for a new product, introduction of a new product in the market. So the purpose would be to apprise the general mood and reception of the consumers to the introduction of that particular product in the market. The reference here would be the either the top management who would have requested you, or the general body, or the team that has deputed you to allocated you for this purpose. The work done here could be visiting some, let's say, some 10 major cities in India, or some 25 small towns in India. It could also include the efforts that has gone in to understand the sales pattern and the interest of customers in the new product. Or it could be an interaction with the or a brainstorming with the agents who are promoting, or could be potential candidates for promoting that product. The finding here could be the response from the agents and the response from customers, what they thought about pricing of the product, and what are the quantities or qualities they would be interested in, and whether the level of interest was shown by the customers or not, and what kind of satisfaction would they do if the organization would move the IT idea with the same level of design that they have decided for now. All these and more could be part of the findings exercise. So the recommendation finally could be either the product cost could be brought down, or the product may be provided in various sizes, so on and so forth. Now let's look at our second example, which is kind of a field report on an event. Let's say that event or incident, it could be incident also, in one of the units of many units of the organization. If that event is deemed unfavorable, the purpose of the reporting could be to submit the possible lines of remedial measures to bring back the organization to normalcy, the unit to normalcy, referring to who empowered these people to carry out that work and what is the work done. The visit, maybe with the acquaintance with the development, inquiries conducted, the discussions or the observations. So the takeaway here is what you recommend is based on your findings, and your findings is based on your work done, and your work done is based on the reference to why this investigation or survey is carried out in the first place, and why it was carried out is the purpose. So it all has to be in sync. Reporting is an exercise generally carried out to report the events or the activities to your own organization, if you are doing it for your organization, or if you are doing it for your client organization, it is for the client's top management. Invariably, a report could result in reforms, it could result in reorganizations for various departments, or even for the entire organization for that matter. It could enhance the coordination between people. It could be a committee report on technical feasibility or economic viability, or a contract tender, and so on and so forth. So it is needless to say that a report should be clear, concise, and it should be understandable to all the people, those who are going through it. It is certainly a requirement that adequate information has to be provided in a report, and sometimes it turns out to be over reporting in a few cases, which should not be ideally the case. The crux of the matter should be conveyed in a crisp and clean manner. It should be in simple language. Anybody should be able to decode it. While a reporting can be sophisticated if it is addressing that kind of audience, it can never be cryptic. It has to be clear. And the efficiency of reporting can bring about a lot of changes, whether it is for your organization or some other organization. Last but not least, the reports are always presented in a formal tone with appropriate headings, subheadings, and jargons. Usually, the jargons are intended at the audience, those who understand in the way a report has to present to them in their own way of understanding. I hope you had a good time listening to the vlog on technical reporting. It's just an introduction. Hope to see you with some similar video in the future. If you like this video, give a big thumbs up and share it with all your contacts. Right? Okay, it's time for my technical reporting. Bye bye. See you. Good day.